Hey Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today to share with you a layout I created for Cocoa Daisy with my July Day in the Life stamps. This is the layout that I created, and these are the stamps that came with the Day in the Life kit. And another look at the layout is here. So what I created with the stamps was that border of watermelons down the side on the right hand side. I just used plain old ink. I didn't emboss it, so that's my VersaFine black ink, and I just randomly went down a piece of white cardstock and placed these watermelon slices. This is the back side of textured core cardstock from Coordinations. It's just a scrap that I happen to have. Why cut into a whole piece of paper when you can use up scraps that you save? I do save smaller white cardstock scraps because I can always use them for projects like this and for testing stamps and ink colors and watercolors. They're about the only small scraps that I really save. I do save big scraps of paper, but small white is pretty much the only one, or black. So using my black VersaFine, I just stamped all the way down, and then for the rind of the watermelon, I use my Jane Davenport Mermaid marker. It's the lighter, brighter green, and that was perfect for the rind. And I just colored in the rind. You do have to be a little bit careful because it's a brush tip marker that's a very, I'm going to say squashy brush tip marker, so it's easy to go out of the lines if you press down a little too hard, so just light pressure on the pen is perfect. And then I use a Faber-Castell Pitt pen to color in the red, or the juicy part of the watermelon. And this one is easier to hold with a more normal grip on the pen. And I just created the whole border. I knew part of this border was going to get covered, but I went all the way down anyway, just because you never know what mistake you're going to make, and it's easier to get it all done while you're in the flow of things. So that was the watermelon border that I created. I thought it was a fun complement to the pictures that I had chosen. These pictures are on the last day of school at a pool party. Every year there's an annual pool party, and this is my daughter after the ice cream social of the video that I just did for Cocoa Daisy. Enjoying some watermelon at the pool with her friends. So I pulled all of the red and green themed things from the July kits. I loved this sunflower, and I thought the pop of yellow added a fun mix of color to the red and green for a little bit of contrast in the layout. So I wanted that red as a border, so I just cut, I think it was 3.5 inches wide to create the border, and then I knew that the watermelon strip was going to go in between the sunflower and that red border there. So I just trimmed that down a little bit to insert where I wanted that to go. And then I had this piece of paper from the Day in the Life kit, that green floral that I had ripped off part of for another layout, and decided that it looked fun as it was over that sunflower, to just put a little bit of a backing behind the pictures. So you can see that cluster of red and green and black actually elements up there, and I just try and find clusters of embellishments that are pleasing to me and work with the layout. And it's a very boring title, but I just ended up sticking with real life. When you have big words like that, you can still create a title, but I didn't really leave space for another title in there. So I just left real life as my title. So the other stamping that I do here on this project with my Day in the Life stamps is I'm going to get out Sunshine on My Mind and stamp directly on the picture there. It's just, again, my Versamark ink. Because I use a matte photo paper, I can stamp on the photo without worrying about using any permanent ink. And I'm going to put my date on that banner there, picnic banner. And then I'm going to find the little ant. Actually, I think he's the big ant. There's two size ants that come with this stamp set, which are really cute. And I just put a little ant above the banner there with black ink. I will tell you, when you're using the Cocoa Daisy exclusive papers, just like when you're using the Day in the Life cards, there's a bit of a shine to them, so they're a little bit slick. You have to be very sturdy with your hand when you're stamping on these things so that you don't smudge the ink that you're stamping with if you're not stamping with Versamark. Not Versamark, StazOn ink, sorry. So I'm just using my Prima Pet glue pen here to glue these things down, being careful not to smudge the ink because I know, having learned historically in the past, that these things do smudge. And again, just using the glue pen to layer down some of these embellishments that I have. The embellishments up the top there, that red strip is from the print and cut file, and then the other Cocoa Daisy exclusives, and those little red hearts are from the Fancy Pants ephemera pack. So I fuzzy cut out one of my test watermelons because I thought it would be fun to put over the A. You can see there upside down as part of the A, but it was kind of hard to tell that it was an A with the watermelon there. And then I thought, well, I've gone through the effort of cutting it out, maybe I'll just use it somewhere else. But actually my daughter walked around with a watermelon glued to the center of her head for the rest of the evening instead. Funny little tidbit there. So I'm going to glue down that watermelon border strip that I created. I like the white there. It adds a lot of contrast to the page, but it's a little too stark. So what you don't see is that I go in with some Tim Holtz Distress ink and just sort of, and you'll see this in the close-ups, I add a hint of brown to it to just tone down the white a little bit. I only had one piece of that green sunflower paper, and on the back of that is the red plaid that I really liked and I need to use for another project, so I just trimmed it off so that I had a little bit of that red plaid in a 12 by 12 or a 12 long piece to use elsewhere. And then I'm just reconstructing the layout that I've already built, having found placement for things that I really like. That is the circle is from the print and cut files, and I'm running these elements through my Xyron sticker maker. And the good stuff is one of the die cuts that comes with the kit, and the red circle, picnic pattern circle, checkered circle, is from the print and cut exclusives that I actually circle cut with my Martha Stewart. Variegated circle is the best word I can come up with off the top of my head. That white from the top of the bottom circle with the black ended up being a little bit stark, so I just ended up using a fine black marker to put a stitched edge around it to just define that a little bit. So those are the 3 places that I stamped on this layout. Here's some close-ups. Thanks for joining me today. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and if you enjoyed the video and the process, a thumbs up would be great. Thanks for stopping in today. Take care.